We're now going to continue talking about equivalent fractions by going through these examples here. So it says find two equivalent fractions of the following. So here is 1 on 4, and we need to find an equivalent fraction to that. Well, remember what we're going to do is multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So let's multiply them both by 3. Whatever you do at the top, you must do the bottom. So because I'm multiplying the top by 3, that means I must multiply the bottom by 3. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. So 3 on 12 is an equivalent fraction to 1 on 4. Now we need to find another equivalent fraction. So let's take this 3 on 12 and multiply it by something else. Let's multiply it by 10. So remember, because I'm multiplying the top by 10, I must multiply the bottom by 10. You have to do the same to the top to the bottom. So that's going to be 3 times 10 is 30, and 12 times 10 is 120. So 1 on 4, 3 on 12, and 30 on 120 are all equivalent fractions. And that means they all have the same value. And to really show you what this means, I'm going to come to my calculator here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in 1 on 4. Now, the first thing that we need to know here is 1 on 4 is the same as 1 divided by 4. That's another way of writing it. So I think that's really important that you put that down somewhere. So let's write that down just in our notes here. You need to know that 1 on 4 is equal to 1 divided by 4. So this line here is the same as a division symbol. All right, so if I go 1 divided by 4, we should all know that that's 25%. And as you can see here, it's giving to us as a decimal, it's 0.25. We'll talk more about decimals later, but I think it's important that you see that at the beginning, that 1 on 4 is the same as 1 divided by 4, and it's giving me 25%, 0.25. What if I type in 3 divided by 12? So 3 divided by 12 is the same thing as 3 on 12. What's that equal to? Do you see how it's equal to 0.25 again? And what if we went 30 divided by 120? So that was our last fraction here. And as you can see again, they all have the same value. They are all represent 25% or 0.25 as a decimal. So that's what I mean when I say equivalent fractions all have the same value. Okay, let's see this in action again. Let's come to our next one. So we need to think of some more equivalent fractions, but this time for 2 on 3. So what do we want to times it by? And remember, it doesn't matter what you times it by. Anything you want, let's times it by 5. But if you do it to the top, you must do it to the bottom. All right, what's 2 times 5? 2 times 5 is 10. What is 3 times 5? It is 15. Then I need to think of another one. Let's think of another one. What do you want to times it by now? Let's times it by 3. You could have times it by anything, but I've chosen 3. So if I times it by 3, I'm going to go 3 times 10 is 30. And then 15 times 3 is going to be 45. So all of these should be 2 on 3. So, and they are, all of these are equivalent fractions. So can I actually get you to do something very important? Can you put equal signs here and do them over here as well? All these fractions are equivalent fractions, which means they are all equal to each other. They all have the same value. And now let's do with our calculator the same thing over here. So let's come over here like this. All right. So remember, and you can write this down, you can go 2 on 3 is equal to 2 divided by 3. Same thing. So if I come over here and I go 2 divided by 3, 2/3, I'm going to get 0.666666666 and then 7 at the end. And that's just because it's rounding. It's really just 6 forever. All right, now if I go 10 on 15, so 10 divided by 15, I should again get that same value out. And sure enough, I do. As you can see, all 6s. If I go 30 on 45, I get that same number out again, and there it is again. I'm getting that same value out each time. So that's what's happening here. That's the really important thing that you need to take note of. All right, let's keep on going here, and let's now go through this one. We might hide this. Okay, here we go. So here it says find the missing number. All right, so we need to find the missing number here. So what you have to do is you have to ask yourself, all right, how do I go from 4 to 12? Well, obviously I'm timesing it by 3. So whatever you're doing to the bottom, you must do to the top. So I'm timesing this by 3. 3 3s are 9, so this has to have a 9 there. Then I'll come over here and I'm going to go, all right, how am I going from 2 to 18? Well, 2 to 18 is times by 9. So that means I'm going to times it by 9 down the bottom. What's 7 9s? 7 9s are 63. So that is there. And again, just to really show you what's happening here, if I was to come to my calculator and I went, all right, what is 3 on 4? 3 divided by 4 is 0.75. What's 9 divided by 12? 0.75. They're equivalent. That is what we're doing here, people. And again, if we did it with over here as well, if we went 2 divided by 7, you'd see that's 0.285714 and so on. And if we went 18 divided by 63, we would get 2857. As you can see, this number is the same as that number. And that is what equivalent fractions are all about. The value is still retained, even though it looks different. So hopefully you feel comfortable with equivalent fractions.